The protesters disrupted a white nationalist speech at the University of Florida. Leader of the alt-right movement Richard Spencer's address has led to mass protest, prompting Florida's governor to declare state of emergency. Florida University has said that it did not want to let Spencer speak, but was obligated under law to do so. Spencer's speech comes just 2 months after a woman died during a far-right rally in Charlottesville.
Absolutely, I'm not a white supremacist. I've answered that question probably literally 1,000 times at this point. I've always said no. Race is real, race matters, and race is the foundation of identity. And that holds for white people, that holds for all human beings. That is a foundational tenet of the alt-right. I would say everyone in the alt-right agrees with that statement. They do not want a different viewpoint to be heard, because we would present the world with a different way of doing things. It would be a much more peaceful world. It would be a much more meaningful world for all human beings. It would be a better and more beautiful world if people like me were in power.
For decades now, people from across the world have been going to the United States to live what they call the American dream, a melting pot of cultures. Indians for long have considered the United States a country that gives better opportunities, but recent clashes in Charlottesville have revealed an ugly side of the United States, a country where white supremacists brew hatred, a country that looks at immigrants with suspicion. What are the implications of Trump's America First politics? How are Indians living, studying or working in the States affected? Do their families back in India worry for their safety? Here is a report.
We have a message. We're back and we're going to keep coming back.
Chanting blood and soil and Sieg Heil, these American racists strike fear at first glance. These highly organized groups are known as white supremacists in the popular narrative. And they are fighting a battle against what they call the rewriting of American history. In other words, they want to keep alive the legacy of racial tension in the United States. And what's worse, their inspiration is Adolf Hitler and the infamous Ku Klux Klan. Some of them are heavily armed too. When a white rally first led to violence in Charlottesville in August, statements from United States President Donald Trump didn't inspire much confidence either.
But we're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides, no matter our color, creed, religion, or political party. We are all Americans first.
President Trump was criticized for failing to unequivocally condemn the white supremacists. Emboldened, they converged in Charlottesville in early October yet again. For decades, the promise of the American dream has lured Indians to the West. But what do the families of those studying, working or living in the United States feel back in India? WION set out to find out. Shweta Jain lives in Delhi. Her son Ujjwal studies at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. Shweta unabashedly talks about the American dream.
The biggest American dream is the dollars and Indian is rupees. So besides that, of course, education is also an investment.
But that is not to say that the developments in the United States don't worry Shweta. She is very concerned indeed.
We do get goose pimples sitting in India. It affects, as a parent, it's any violence near your child's accommodation does worry you. Anyone who is not white does feel insecure after Donald Trump's era. Because any public statements, any such social sentiments does affect the human race living there.
On the other hand, Deepak from Delhi is positive his son has a better future in the United States.
Indian education system is more theoretical in nature, and there they have a practical approach. Like my son, he's in the second year, third semester right now. He has already been approached by Google He has been shortlisted among the 7 students of the university. So he has already cleared the first round. So there is no bias as such against the Indians. And then if he is selected by Google, it would be a very good opportunity for him as far as internship is concerned. Such opportunities in India are not there at all.
Sudhir Arya of the Council for American Education also insists that a few marches in the US won't shake up the confidence of Indians.
But that's an extremely small percentage of people who are, going for such marches and etc. But the general sentiment is that even the US, folks are not really with them, and that's a very small number if you really see.
But not everyone's buying this logic. There are others who've been concerned about the way events have unfolded.
Yeah, for past 8 years, and earlier they were happy about their situation, but nowadays even they are worried. They talk a lot about these racist activities which is happening around, and they are worried. So that's why that's the reason we are also worried about them.
Rishi Tiwari's sister and brother-in-law live in Texas. He believes the police will control such elements.
It is all about precaution. If they are having guns and you don't have, you have to sit back home. So you are not a soldier to fight on a street. There are, uniforms to take care of it.
Nirmala Prabhu from India's tech capital Bengaluru says the atmosphere in the United States has definitely changed over the years.
When children go abroad, they go with a particular, dream in their mind. So when she went 7 to 8 years, the situation was much better at that time. And we were not so worried.
And Nirmala has a word of advice for those brewing hatred.
Instigation and provoking someone and making them feel that they are different and they are supreme because of the way they are made, which is not in our hand, or the place they are born in, making them feel supreme is something which should be stopped.
We have a message. We're back and we're going to keep coming back.